Welcome into Trivia Night Live, a weekly trivia show where you, the viewer, get to compete for prizes, games, and my name and your name getting said many, many times over a 1 hour and 30-minute broadcast. I'll probably say my name a lot. I am Joey Wright. I am the community ambassador over at Footballguys. And this week, I am having a guest on. He was the very first guest I booked for the show when we decided we're going to do trivia, and they gave me the green light to do pop culture. I was absolutely doing a Jurassic Park week, and I reached out to my good buddy. He is my Jurassic authority on all Bigfoot. If I need an IDP question answered, I go to this guy. He's an FSWA member, Craig Reith. How are you doing, buddy?
I am very tired, but I am excited to be here, and I think this is going to wake me up a little bit here. It's great to be on with you. The trivia shows are fantastic. My kids love them, and who knows what they're going to be named, but they're going to be trying to play along, so we'll see how that goes.
That's your son sent a really nice, he asked you a very nice question earlier today. He said, "Is that Joey guy hosting?" And you said yes. And what did your son say?
He said, "That's awesome. He's the best." And I know Joey did not pay me. He could have paid my son. I don't know how he'd contact him, but he just out of the blue. I mean, he knows who Joey is. He's seen him enough on, football guy stuff and stuff from Canton, that photos, and then of course FYF, which he loved. Seeing when that was on regularly, during the week after school.
I think if I could just find a way just to appeal to kids, I would have no critics because kids love me, but adults, Craig, it's Jurassic Park week. We are going to talk a lot about Jurassic Park, but before we do that, we're here with fantasycares as well in partnership with them. You were at the Madison Live event. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Photos. Tell me about it. How was it?
It's a lot of fun. It was the second year Madison has had a live draft. It's the second year. I shouldn't say it's the second year we've had. It might be the third year they've had. I think it's the second year. But I've been there 2 years. My son went with me both years. He's almost 13. And he last year he was just dipping his toes into fantasy football. He's joined a few leagues at this point, and he's sort of going off the deep end. He's in a W league for his third league. So he's just going all the way into it. But he likes IDP because he knows – that's my focus for what I pay attention to and I've done content for before. So it was great. The food was great. I think we raised around $2,600 for the 3 leagues that we had, our divisions that we had. A lot of good people that I, met before. Some had been there prior years, some hadn't, but it was a really great time, great atmosphere, and always great to raise money for charity.
Awesome. I love hearing that. I got to go to 2 events over the past 2 weeks. One was planned. One was very, very last minute. First one I went to was Las Vegas, and I'm not allowed to talk too much about Las Vegas because it was crazy. No, just a great draft, great experience over at Circus Swim. Thanks to everybody out there. And also I went to, what was the other one? Oh, I went to Chicago Live. Oh my gosh. I worked my tail off at Chicago Live, but it was a blast. I ended up getting to go to a fire match with Steven Johnson, former guest on the show, Salito. We just had a blast out there hanging out with Scott Fish and everyone that came out for Chicago. Chicago raised $20,000.
I saw that. That's huge.
That's unbelievable. Everyone out at Chicago Live, thank you so much. You guys kicked butt. Craig, I said you were my guest, but I was in a meeting earlier today, and I was talking about when you're running a live show, you've got one guest, but then you really do have another guest, especially on Trivia Night Live, and that is the chat. Let's say hello to the chat. Steve's in here, as he is every week, saying, "Hey, everyone." Hey, Steve, how's it going? Somebody was excited for tonight and said, "Roar," with a dinosaur emoji. That was me. Jason Smith. Jason, welcome in. Welcome in. Andrea. Uh-oh. Dave's in here. Hey,
there's trouble.
You, Craig. Yeah, big time trouble. Craig, if Dave was a Jurassic Park character, what would he be? Who would he be?
Are we talking humans or are we talking dinosaurs?
Let's just go anything. I'm gonna think too.
If I had to just off the top of my head give him a character, I would go Nick Van Owen, Vince Vaughn's character from The Lost World.
Turn the dinosaurs into the military. Got it. That's Dave.
Yeah, I mean,
Colorado Springs. It just happens.
He's all about taking care of stuff. He's very adept and knows what he's doing, knows how to get around and cause a little bit of trouble when he needs to.
There you go. All right. And Ann Dunn saying, "What's up, everybody?" And our former chat historian at Front Yard Fantasy is Craig, but our chat historian here at Trivia Night Live is apparently Dave. You think 0-0 on Football Guys Trivia for those keeping score at home.
That is correct.
In here, I think he's going to be at Orlando Live. That's exciting. Vince, A Legends. Dave saying, "I can't play because he's about to record with Jeff Bell, but he wanted to hop on for a bit." Oh, thanks just for gracing us with your presence, Dave. In here. This is an extended version of Wednesday Night Hangout Garage Trivia. There was a question: will I be appearing on Garage Trivia? We're doing trivia tonight. Thank you to everyone that's still here. We did have to pivot a little bit because Joey was a little sleepy coming back from Chicago. Oh, Tip is going to go watch Jurassic World Rebirth tomorrow at the drive-in.
I'm seeing it tomorrow too. Unfortunately, not at a drive-in. There is a drive-in. The town I used to live in, it's about 20, 25 minutes away now. It used to be like 3 minutes from my house. It was awesome during the summer, but it's for sale and not currently operational. So if I win the lottery, I'm going to be running a outdoor theater. But
okay.
Not there yet.
I like it. Dave's watching us in the shower, so that's good. It's a mighty fine bookshelf for a garage, if I do say so myself. Yeah, this is the studio. Yeah, when garage trivia happens, I do head into the garage. Pigbird Jet fan says hello, new best friends. Yeah. Best friend. There we go. Just pulled that out of my butt, didn't I? Look at me go. And then Mighty Bausch saying, "Hi, fish bowlers." Oh. Let's see. Craig got a little technical difficulty there. Good day, Steve. Hi, Beanie. Yeah, everybody's hanging out. TMRL's in here. A geek is in here. What's up, Jeff? Case. Oh my gosh, lots of people in here this week. We love seeing you guys. Andrew, I got to meet you at Chicago Live. It was super fun. Had a blast hanging out with you. Real quick, let's put up the board, which I forgot to share. Let's get that up here for you guys. I'm waiting for Craig to come back here in just a second. There we go. And your game pen tonight is going to be 4003938. So go to Kahoot.it and throw that code in there. I know some of you guys saw it there. Greg, you ready? You back, buddy?
I'm on mute, but I'm back. Yep. Sorry about that.
Okay, cool. All right, just making sure you're back. Yeah, Craig's doing for sure, Joey. It's great meeting you. Yeah, great, good times. Craig, I want to ask you, we're here to talk about Jurassic Park. I've got a story, but I want to hear your story first. Tell me your first memory of seeing Jurassic Park.
I saw it in the theaters with my parents and my older brother. He's about 3 years older than me. So, when I came out, because my parents said I could, and, it was back in the early 90s. They didn't care as much about letting kids that maybe were too young into those PG-13 movies. So I was I didn't see it right away when it came out. So I think I was 7 when it came out. And I remember the biggest thing that I remember is I had bad dreams after it. And it wasn't from anything crazy, but it was when Ellie, Dr. Grant, Lex, and Tim are crawling up in the ductwork, and the raptor puts his head up through the tiling, and then Lex almost falls, and that is the part that I had vivid dreams that I can still recall to this day of. The rest of it, I remember it was great, but that specific part, boy, that got me somehow.
That's awesome. I think it should scare kids. I think that's a good thing. I've shown both my kids Jurassic Park way too early in their lives because it means so much to me. I've often cited it as the thing that made me love movies. My grandfather took me out of, I don't think school was going on, but picked me up early from daycare, wherever I was. And it was the first time I ever waited in line for a movie. So I remember even just before I got into the movie theater, something felt different. Something felt special. There was a line outside. And I had never seen a Steven Spielberg movie before that. I saw Jurassic Park before I ever saw E.T. because I was afraid of E.T. because I didn't like aliens. I wish that I could go back and just sit in the theater and watch myself because it changed my life. I remember getting in the car with my grandfather and just being like, this is one of the best days of my life. And he's like, well, let's go to the video store. And he rented me Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Jaws. And we watched those this weekend and then went back and saw Jurassic Park again. It is such an important movie to me. Will forever be in my top 10 just because of like what it just started in me. So yeah, I love Jurassic Park. I got a little T-Rex up there when I bought my collector's edition trilogy. So yeah, cool. And they are my guilty pleasure movies. I don't care how bad they are or how good. I will forever go see a Jurassic Park movie. Get people running away from dinosaurs. I'm in. Absolutely am.
Yeah, there's something about, and it pulled from prior movies and stuff, but it just had that feeling of, and of course I hadn't seen a whole lot in theater given my age before, but it had the feeling like, yeah, this is a real dinosaur. Like you really believed they were dinosaurs up there on screen, as opposed 100%. To some of the, and of course it isn't all CGI for that movie. It was a lot of actual physical effects, which I think added to it, but it had that vibe of just being real, where even, 32 years later, when whatever it is here, seeing that on TV or if you watch on DVD or something, like it looks amazing to this day.
So good. We're going to talk more about the T-Rex escape paddock scene. It could just be the greatest movie scene, like popcorn movie scene ever. It's flawless. It's perfect. There's not a bad beat. There's not much more because we have trivia questions, so I can't really give away too much of this stuff. But so Andrew says he was on an 8th grade church vacation in Colorado to experience it. And saying she's seen all the Jurassics with her grandkids, and she still won't win trivia. And everyone cheered loudly when the lawyer got eaten. There might be a trivia question about that. I saw Jeff Bell was in here. Yep. Oh, Jeff saying he was afraid of ET too. Yeah, Dave saying Joey and I watched a Jurassic Park movie together in Colorado with our wives. We absolutely did that. That was the first activity Dave and I ever did together. So that was a lovely memory I have. Oh, Bob Harris in here. Will there be questions about human dinosaurs? That's like the plot point of Fallen Kingdom, isn't it? Basically, Craig.
No. No. The connect. You don't want me going off on a rant because the show is going to be too long. They had talked about having some dinosaur human hybrids before they got into the World trilogy, and that never actually panned out. They talked about how the cloning actually started, and then how Hammond's partner Lockwood used it for some devious means. I don't want to, not necessarily devious, but unethical, we'll put it that way, means for a character. And so it is related to that. My feelings, unfortunately, the last two World movies, Fallen Kingdom and then Dominion, went too far away from the actual dinosaurs being the focus into science being the focus, which I think would be fine on a movie on its own. But when people are going to see a Jurassic movie, that's what they want. Yeah. So
Bob Harris saying the neighbor kids used to call me Jurassic Bob. Well, Bob, that's because you were there with them. So you remember them and probably had friends that were dinosaurs. Remember the TV show Dinosaurs? There's no questions about that this week.
Oh, yeah.
Mama. That was a great show. Man, what a time to be alive when dinosaurs was like the cool thing. Oh, man, that was fun.
Talk about weird endings, too. Holy cow. Do you remember how the
TV
show ended?
Yes. Very funny show. Dark.
Oh, yeah, ending. Very dark.
Oh, my goodness. Land of the Lost? Anyone? I have my Land of the Lost memory is I've never had to pee so bad in a movie than I did in Land of the Lost. And I remember finally going to the bathroom and be like, I can't believe I held that in for Land of the Lost. So that's my memory. Oh. I took my 3 young girls to see Land Before Time. They re-released it at a local matinee locally. Yeah, I'll tell you, if you get the opportunity to see Jurassic Park on the theater or do that. They do a lot of rep screenings. But I'll be going to see Rebirth probably this week. My daughter will not go with me. She said she wants me to see it first. All right. Well, we're going to hop in that game. We'll give you some rules real quick, and then we'll get that first game started. So if you're watching us here on Fantasy Cares YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're watching on the Footballguys Live YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe over there. Also consider making a donation to Fantasy Cares. Your donations go to great causes like the annual Toys for Tots toy drive. You can go to fantasycares.org to make donations. To play the game, go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen or go to Kahoot.it on your web browser. From there, you'll need to enter a 7-digit code for the game, which today will be 4003938. And from here, you'll need to enter a nickname. Any vulgar or hateful names will get you banned, and you won't be eligible for prizes, and we'll remove you from the game. Although I do love dinosaur pun names, so if you're getting your names in there and you make it a dinosaur pun, thumbs up to you. Once the game begins, a question will come up on the screen here, as well as on your device. Answer by clicking or tapping on your choice from your device. Accuracy and speed will both factor into your score. So the quicker you answer correctly, the higher the points, and you'll have 45 seconds to answer each question. Each game will consist of 12 questions, and we'll be playing 2 separate games per show. At the end of the game, the person with the highest amount of points will be our winner. And once again, this week's theme is Jurassic Park. There might be some NFL adjacent questions in there. Yes, I was able to weave my little wordplay into making it work. So watch out for some NFL questions this week. We're going to be bringing a little bit more of NFL into trivia as we're getting closer to the season. So be on the lookout for that. Today's prizes, we'll have a Footballguys Elite subscription and a choice of a Scott Fishbowl shirt from the Fantasy Cares shop.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have any Fantasy Cares Scott Fishbowl shirts yet, you can absolutely win one tonight. Or you can get a Footballguys Elite subscription. If you got drafts coming up, it'll be great for that. You can draft Dominator. Get in with that. All right. So we got a little game going on here. You say we start the first one up?
Yeah, I want to ask you beforehand, not to necessarily give something away. Is this just about the movie? I know you're a movie guy, or did you pull anything from the books?
Nothing from the books. I will say that I would give percentages 70% for the first, because there's so much trivia you can pull from that first movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what most of the people have seen. And then like 15% towards any of the sequels.
Okay.
And then like 15% to like general Jurassic questions about the whole series. So, but it's heavy into the first movie because like truly I could have done 50 trivia questions about the first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
It's so deep.
It's a pet peeve of mine when I tell people my favorite movie is Jurassic Park, and they're like, which one? I'm like, there's only one. There's one movie named Jurassic Park. The rest have their own separate names. I didn't say the series. Mm-hmm. Jurassic Park is Jurassic Park.
What's the second best Jurassic Park movie?
Currently, in my opinion, Jurassic World. And it's mainly because I think part of it is I was just so disappointed, and there was such a long wait after Jurassic Park 3 that when they finally, that trailer, the first international trailer, which is the first one I saw, when it's just the initial shots are of the park is open. You know, that's the thing. It's like they did it. Like, this is what you want to see, like this functioning park with these dinosaurs. Like, what would it like to be there? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, everything goes wrong, and that's fun too. But Jurassic World and then the Lost World Jurassic Park are in my second tier if we're, putting the movies into tiers.
If you're tiering them. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Claire's saying, my mom took me to see the original Jurassic Park when I was 9. I screamed and ran out so fast I left a flip-flop and refused to go back in to get it. If Josh Park shows up tonight, I will tell his Jurassic Park story that his parents have told me a bunch of times. It's very funny, and it has to do with the goat. So, yeah. All right. Somebody's shouting out Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom had a lot of good stuff in it. For me, it went on too long, sort of like The Lost World did. It felt like there was a movie and then they tacked on another third or quarter of a movie at the end that just didn't completely fit.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this first game. We're going to talk lots of Jurassic Park tonight. All right. So make sure you got your stuff ready and we will get going. Jurassic Park Pack 1. Great title for that pack there. First question. As of today, July 2nd, how many Jurassic Park motion pictures have been released in movie theaters? 5, 6, 7, or 8? Have you enjoyed the marketing for Jurassic World Rebirth with both of them giving all their Jurassic memories?
I have, and I like the fact that they have cast people that cared and, it mattered to them to be in one. Spielberg even said when they were doing another one of these that they had to cast a lead, and they were talking about a female. He's like, well, we might as well get Scarlett Johansson. She's been bugging me for years to be in one. And she just automatically said yes, because that's how bad she wanted to be in one. Like, I think that stuff is really cool when people care about the franchise.
I've always been a fan of ScarJo. I have. Like, she did the Marvel movies, and I was like, okay, but I liked her in, Lost in Translation's one of my favorite movies. But in the last few years, she's really done a lot to win me over. She married Colin Jost. Which she married a funny guy. So I was like, That's pretty cool. And then she keeps talking about how much she loves Jurassic Park. She's moving up the list, Craig. I'm just saying.
Don't blame you.
Checking the boxes for me. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. First place is Case, 989. Just he knew that one right away. Or she. For us, all we know is it's a camel and a top hat. Craig, you're on second on the board. I expect you to be winning. Oh, Scott Fishbowl 15. Just at 975.
Is that you?
No, I don't get to. I've never got to play trivia.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
I guess you know the answers, so that kind of defeats it a bit. But
okay, I'm just here for the fun. All right, next question. What performer is tied with B.D. Wong for the most physical appearances in the Jurassic Park franchise of films? Is it Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Bryce Dallas Howard, or Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. B.D. Wong's character, he had a much bigger part in the book, and he was very upset publicly about how much his role got cut down for the movie. But then, arguably, he's played a huge role, biggest role out of all of the originals in the last three prior to this one. So
I would say, other than Hammond, he's probably the most important character in the Jurassic Park universe. Or Jurassic, whatever. I did honestly not know what to call the Jurassic Park franchise, the Jurassic universe, I think I've gone through every combination in trivia this week. So
yeah, I don't know what they call it either. That's a good question.
Jeff Goldblum, Pittsburgh legend. I think Jeff Goldblum's a legend wherever he goes. Wait, Joey Corleone, when is Godfather trivia night? In my dreams. I don't know if we could ever pull that off. Believe me, I'm pulling strings to get Muppet trivia to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. The powers that be, I went before the board, and they're like, we don't know, Joey. Puppets is a lot. So we'll see. When I said it's not puppets, it's Muppets. So, all right. Let's take
There'll be enough episodes. You can pull it off, I think.
I know. All right, Craig, moving up into the top at 1964. Ladarius, second on the board. Scampers. Saw him in Las Vegas. Crazy cat.
Ladarius is always tough in trivia. That guy just knows everything. I think it's that Jeopardy watching.
He's quick. All right, next question. Before Sam Neill, who was Steven Spielberg's first choice to play the role of Alan Grant in Jurassic Park? Was it Tom Selleck, Harrison Ford, Kurt Russell, or Sean Connery?
This is a very good one, because at least two or three of these guys I know were on the list and discussed. But
it is Harrison Ford. The hat is still there to kind of give a little nod. Sean Connery was in talks for Jurassic Park, and I know you know who for who, Craig. Do you know?
Hammond.
Yeah, it was for Hammond. Yeah,
Kurt Russell was, though, for Alan Grant too. He was a name that was brought up at one point. So I don't know if you put that in there because you knew, but that was a good one.
I saw Russell's name mentioned, but it wasn't as linked as the Harrison Ford. Like, he had the part and then turned it down because he wanted to do do it different.
I mean, well, I won't go into more character what ifs because I don't know what questions you have. But yeah, there's some really good ones.
I think this is pretty much it as far as who should have been who.
Jim Carrey did a audition for Jeff Goldblum, which they said went really well, but they kind of were set on Jeff Goldblum if he wanted it, which he did. So
I think he could have made that role iconic in a completely different way. Like, agreed. I would like to have seen what it would have been. I think it would have been a very different Ian Malcolm. But is Ian Malcolm your favorite character in the Jurassic Park movies?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, it's him or Hammond, like you said, with how important Hammond is. And they always talk about, I don't know if you saw, they're like, oh, we might be rebooting the Indiana Jones franchise. That news came out today. And not that I want them to, and I don't think there's a need to, but if they ever did a reboot of Jurassic Park, I want it more closely linked to the book, where, especially Hammond is just this evil guy that's all about money and business. He's not that friendly, grandfatherly character. I mean, they could really go in a different direction with him, Muldoon being a balding drunk out there with his rocket launcher going after raptors.
We are getting a scene from the book we didn't get in the first movie. So I'm excited. I think that's what I'm most excited for Rebirth, is we're getting the raft scene.
The stuff in the promos have been awesome for that. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's take a look at the board. Craig just running away with it. Like we knew it might happen, folks. Rowdy, though, he's got an answer trick of 3s moving up there. Case, SFP 15, Ladarius. All right, let's go take a look. Let's take a look at the next question. On January 8th, 2023, this dinosaur became the oldest quarterback to start a game in the NFL. Is it Ryan Fitzpatrick, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, or Tom Brady?
This is where you're going to get me.
Start a game in the NFL. What?
This is where you're going to get me.
See?
It's a good question, though.
Yeah, it's a good picture of Tom Brady, too. I gave it away right as it went on the board. So, yeah, that's Tom Brady. We don't normally do celebrity gossip here on Trivia Night Live. However, I'm going to throw a little celebrity gossip.
Ooh.
There was a little love triangle at Jeff Bezos' wedding, and apparently Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney are hitting it off. So that's
I saw that, and I was hoping that was a joke, but I mean, in this current reality we live in, anything pretty much wouldn't surprise me.
Apparently Orlando Bloom was upset. He seems like he's got his own problems.
I think a lot of people are going to be upset if Tom Brady gets with Sydney Sweeney, but
yeah, I don't know. Celebrity gossip. What are you going to do? Percy is letting us know Dominion wasn't half bad. It wasn't half good either. Now, there's some cool scenes in it. Yeah, once again,
the dinosaur stuff was great. The plot got way too complicated.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Craig, you still got it right. It took me a
bit to think through that when I got it, but it was only 800 something points, so I thought I'd be knocked down on that one.
It's a tight game. It's like less than 30 points. Rowdy's moving up there. All right, let's move on to the next question. What is the name of the amber mine shown in the opening scene of Jurassic Park? Manos dos Dios, Olas de Greno, Muerta Singlo, or Target? I can only do so much Spanish. Mauricio, I hope you're still watching, and I hope I nailed those.
Yeah, this is one of the harder ones so far.
Mm-hmm.
I do know it, but it is one of the harder ones.
Yeah. Mano de Dios. So it's hand of God. Is that correct?
I'm not very good at Spanish. Hand of...
I made up Olas de Greno, which is waves of grain. So amber waves of grain. That was like my little inside joke.
That's clever.
There. Yeah, I thought so. But Mano de Dios is, I believe, hand of God is what it translated to. Muerta Slinglo, I made that up. I don't know. That's probably something dirty that I didn't realize.
Target got a vote.
Target got one vote. You know, and it could be the site of a Target now.
Yeah, these days it'll probably be sponsored by Target. So,
All right. With leaderboard, Craig. Now we knew this was going to happen, folks, but we still invited him. Scampers in 5th place there. Love seeing him. Case, SIP 15. Rowdy, 2nd place, though. It's doing good. Oh, Ann saying, bummer, my first loss. So she missed one, it sounds like.
A lot of time left.
Yeah. Case called us the GOAT. That was nice, Case. Thanks. I'll say that.
I don't know if you want to be a GOAT for Jurassic Park Trivia, though.
That's true. What type of dinosaur is the first one seen by Alan Grant upon arrival in Jurassic Park? Is it a velociraptor, a triceratops, a dilophosaurus, or a brachiosaurus? It's the first one seen by Alan Grant.
It's good clarification because it isn't the first one.
I had to clarify.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this is why you should not trust the internet, because the internet would have lied to me on this question. This was the easiest trivia I've written, by the way. Like, I didn't really even have to Google much. Just pulled all of this off the top of my head. Oh, John McGlenn letting us know something very important. Craig's son drafted better than me in Madison last weekend.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun drafting Jameson.
Jameson, good job, buddy. Take it down this year. Hey, Brian in here saying, come on. I don't know what he's yelling at, but
I don't know what their name is, but they're clapping upstairs, so I'm guessing they got that one right.
Oh, awesome. Oh, they're probably clapping because I said their name.
Oh, yeah, that could be too.
Everybody loves to hear their name on camera, right, Jameson? Everybody loves
They're going to come down knocking on my door. Say my name. Say my name. And you got, well, one of them can't come down and knock, but you got 6 names here now. So,
well, you put the names in the private chat, and I'll try to fit them in throughout the show. Yeah, Brian saying, come on. All right. Yeah, it is a Brachiosaurus. The first dinosaur we see, though, in the movie is a velociraptor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so when they're in the beginning, shoot her! Yeah, it's a velociraptor. You just see the eye.
Do you have trivia specific about that scene at all? Because, again, I don't want to spoil it.
No, I don't. So go ahead. Please. This is why I invited you.
So the guy that gets eaten, his name is Joffrey Brown. And he, I don't think he has an actual card, but he played sports, several different sports. But he played in the Major League Baseball for the Cubs for one game. He pitched one game in the majors, and it was for the Cubs in like 1968. And then he went into acting, doing stunt work, and that's the guy that you see there, the same guy, Joffrey Brown. And he used his name as the character, too.
Craig, this is why I brought you on. Like, bringing trivia to the trivia show. I love it. This is why we're here. Uh-oh. First review of Rebirth. I greatly disliked Rebirth with a thumbs down.
If you
don't actually see the raptor, but it's technically the first dinosaur you see because you see part of it.
Yeah, you see part of it through the cage, and like you see his claws, latch onto the guy, and some of the tail through there.
Yeah.
And Rebirth has a lot of. I haven't checked Rotten Tomatoes for the fan scores, but it was right around 53-52% for the critics. So, not that far off what some of these other ones have been. But I also don't pay attention to the critic reviews for something like this. So,
I don't know what it is, man, about the Jurassic movies. Maybe it's just pure nostalgia. I will say that the dinosaur, was it the hybrid with like the xenomorph / Ragnar looking one that they have,
the D-Rex, the Distortus Rex, the thing that's mutated, the
Rancor,
big bad.
It's Rancor. I'm sorry, I don't watch Star Trek. Oh, I bet you're really doing now, aren't you? See, I'm gonna just. I used to be a film critic, so let me just say, critics don't like summer movies. It's not exactly true. When I was writing, I always try to have an open mind, and I remember going to see the first of the new Planet of the Apes, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and being blown away, and being like, "Man, this was a great movie." And so it's not exactly true. Critics, but they like to see something new sometimes. Saying I love the trivia in the trivia. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, we love that. It's good stuff to see. All right, let's move on to the next question. I've been told we have to be out of here by 9:30 or Scott will crash the show and fire me live on air. So we don't want that to happen.
No, we certainly don't. We got to get that Muppet trivia yet.
Oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. Okay. How many lives does the T-Rex take in the infamous T-Rex escape the paddock scene in Jurassic Park? How many lives? 0, 1, 2, or 3? How many lives does the T-Rex take?
That is my favorite scene in the entirety of the series. The Brachiosaur that you see right away is good, but. And I see where you got me on this question now. That is very well.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, yeah. Because I wasn't thinking of it. Yeah, you got me.
I didn't say how many people.
Yep.
I
know.
Lives.
As soon as I saw it come up, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what I did wrong. So that's a good one.
Yep. So yes, we did mention the lawyer meets his end, but so does a nice little white goat.
That's true.
The goat does not survive, sadly. Very sad. When I did the
you never
Lego
had lamb chops.
and when that goat leg hits the roof, man, whew, the jump scare that elicited from my body. Yeah, Brian saying he forgot the clearest one. Yeah.
Part of in that scene too, some of those screams are legit, like not acting screams from the kids. Because when the T-Rex head comes down onto the Explorer, that clear roof was not supposed to give way, and it did in the scene. And so those are legit, just scared. Oh my god, this shouldn't be happening. Screams.
Yeah. That glass broke. Like those kids could have seriously got hurt.
Oh yeah.
Well, Spielberg's lucky that and who knows? Those kids might be the real kids that were in that first scene. Maybe Spielberg reshot the whole movie. He would know what to do to cover it up. I'm just saying. I don't mean any Steve and Spielberg. If you're watching tonight, please don't believe anything I say. I love you. You changed my life. My friend actually got to meet him. Was in New York at the Kennedy Center and was seeing a repertory screening of 2001: A Space Odyssey and walked out of the movie theater. And Spielberg was there. Took a picture with him and sent it to me. And I show it to people like I met Spielberg because it's like that's just 1 degree away. Like,
we actually have an artist rendering of the T-Rex head looking right at Gennaro when he's sitting on the toilet in our bathroom at my house.
Oh, that's beautiful. I wish I'd have thought of that. Man, I'm going to steal that and just never talk to you again. Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's my son's account. I don't know where that is coming from, but
I'm loving how mad the chat is at me right now. I told you how many lives.
Well, it was a great question. I mean, once I get people like that,
you're still and that just brought it closer.
Yeah.
Scamper's moving up. Case in 3rd place. I don't know why we didn't talk about Jurassic in Vegas. Well, we could have. The key to my heart is just talking about a movie, and I won't shut up. So, yeah. All right, let's get to the next question. This former Minnesota Vikings and Arizona Cardinals linebacker played control room security guard in 2015's Jurassic World. Is it Dallas Turner, Isaac Keys, Bo Richter, or Kobe King?
I'm not going to get this.
Brought you an IDP Jurassic World question, Craig.
You've got me on something.
This is the only NFL player to ever appear in a Jurassic movie.
I had 2 guesses here, so let's see if the one I picked.
Are you wearing your Dennis Nedry shirt?
This is the Dennis Nedry replica that he's wearing in the scene throughout the movie, I guess. But yeah, it starts in the scene in Costa Rica, San Jose, Costa Rica, where he meets Louis Dodgson.
Mine has little Jurassic Park logos all over it.
And I also have my take apart.
Oh, don't put that away. Put that away.
Sorry.
You can bring it out in a little bit.
All right. It was
hid the part that I needed to be hidden, so you're good.
That was my second guess. So I used a 50-50 and I guessed wrong. So you got me on that one. That's 2.
Streetathon saying, hey, doll, Joey from Vegas to Chicago. Going to be weird now not seeing you at an event this weekend. I know. I will not be at any more Scott Fishbowl events this year. I apologize. I won't be traveling anymore. So you got all you had for me this year. Next year, I do think I'm going to go to New York City for Fishbowl. I want to go to that draft. So. Oh, sorry. I'll be in Orlando. I forgot about that one. Not that I forgot about it, but it's like in my hometown. So I mean, like, I'm not traveling to any others, I should say, Zach. Sorry. Case is waving the pink glove. We're having a good time tonight.
You split the room pretty well on that question, Joey.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Oh, Craig moving. Case. Got it right, though. Case in first place now. That was a dirty question, too, though. All right. Take a look. Question number 9. What other Steven Spielberg movie is Dennis Nedry watching on a small window on his computer? Is it Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1941, or E.T.? and I blacked it out. So you can't see it, folks.
I love that trivia. Nedry is such a fun goofball of a bumbling villain that gets his comeuppance.
It is Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Legos, I did the Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat Lego for Father's Day. Kids, my wife got it for me. Best Lego I've ever built. Hands down. Good bag distribution. Good scene. Good characters. Like, it's just a great Lego. So if you're into Legos, that Jaws one is really great. I think I sent you
Jurassic
pictures.
Park takes a lot. Yes, you did. I thought about getting that one myself when I saw it coming out, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it. I got a few Jurassic ones I got to build yet, but
Gotcha.
Jaws is easily in my top 10 movies of all time, too.
Mm-hmm. It's a great one. Yep. 50th anniversary of Jaws this year. That's absolutely correct. All right. Let's take a look at the next. Oh, leaderboard. Case. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Case is wanting a present. They're wanting a prize.
I got 990 on that one, and I still didn't catch up that much.
What did Steven Spielberg put under the dashboard to create the water ring ripples in the T-Rex scene? Was that a speaker, a guitar string? He laid under the Jeep and hit it himself, or nothing? It's sadly CGI.
It's another very good one.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked me earlier, Joey, what's your second favorite Jurassic movie?
That's a really tough. It is a guitar string. You are correct, chat. It's Jurassic World from a filmmaking standpoint. I have a soft spot for 3, and I think it's because I was working in the movie theater when it came out, and I actually got to go through the process of building it, splicing it together, and giving my grandfather his own. He got to see it about 2 or 3 years before he passed away. And when you're, working in a movie theater, you usually get to see the movies a little early because they have to make sure when we were doing film that it wasn't broken, there was no breaks, no scratches. And so I got to do a private screening just for my grandfather and I.
That's awesome.
For Jurassic Park 3. So like that I have like special memories of that, doing that with him, but I don't know if I think Jurassic World is probably a better movie. So probably Memories 3, but a movie, it's Jurassic World. Dude, I like Fallen Kingdom. I thought Fallen Kingdom was actually really good.
There's a lot that I liked in Fallen Kingdom, but they cut out a lot of stuff that I think would have mattered for some of the stuff that seemed goofy. Again, do you have trivia about Fallen Kingdom in here, really?
I have one question.
Is it about the Indoraptor?
Hold on to it.
Okay.
It might actually. No, I might not have it. Go ahead. I don't think I do. And if it pays to listen, go ahead.
The scene where Ted Levine, who plays, I don't remember, I think Wheatley, the guy from Buffalo Bill, that plays Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
That person.
Yeah. He's trying to take a tooth from the Indoraptor, and he shoots it twice with the trank gun. Well, that seems all silly, and, the raptor's playing dead or whatever, and then, it attacks him. There was an earlier scene that was cut out where they were discussing how, you have to shoot it 3 times with this thing to knock it out. Otherwise, it doesn't actually get knocked out. Like, they've learned that, and it had killed someone in its enclosure prior. So by cutting that out, you don't have that frame of reference, right? He shoots it twice, like, all right, like this thing instead of like, oh, this dinosaur is impervious, which is kind of what it feels like in that scene. So, like there's stuff like that. And I get it was a long movie that might have been, that's up there with the longest ones that they've had. And again, there's a lot of stuff that I liked. It had a lot of similarities to The Lost World, where it's like one movie up until a point, and then it goes to another one, like in The Lost World, where they get to San Diego and the T-Rex goes nuts. It's kind of like when they, get to the mainland after being on the island. And having a whole bunch of different dinosaurs show up, the actual island. I mean, I wish they wouldn't have destroyed it, but they did. So I did like Fallen Kingdom. It was certainly way better than Dominion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Fallen Kingdom just doesn't get talked about as much as it should, because I think it's actually really good. I was going to say something. I forget what it was. It's not that boring.
It's also darker too than a lot of them had been up to that point, which I'm hoping Rebirth has some of too, and it kind of sounds like it does.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to the next question. We got to get through some of these questions pretty quick. Case still in first place. Let's see with the 2 questions left in this pack. In the worst scene in any Jurassic Park film, what dinosaur kills the T-Rex early in Jurassic Park 3? Is it a Spinosaurus, an Allosaurus, a Stegosaurus, or Gigantosaurus? I sang the praises of Jurassic Park 3. I was horribly offended by this moment.
That is that moment and people's displeasure with it, including Spielberg's, is why in Lost World, when the T-Rex gets loosed by Bryce Dallas Howard's character and it's coming into the scene, it goes through a Spinosaurus skeleton and destroys it, if you watch that. So it's kind of an homage to, we screwed up.
It's okay. Yeah. Brian already, he threw it in there for us. Yeah, the Spinoskeleton. Spinosaurus kills the T-Rex.
There you go.
And like snaps its neck, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like killing Superman at the beginning of a Superman movie. Just can't do it. They never made that mistake again, though.
No, I think, not to. The original T-Rex Rexy, as it's referred to in the community, isn't in this new movie Rebirth, from what I've been told. But apparently Spielberg has a rule too where you can't kill that T-Rex in a Jurassic movie. Like, he won't allow it with the IP. So you probably will never see that one die, but obviously you saw one die.
Yeah, it's just can't do it. All right. Looking at the leaderboard. Case moves down a spot. Craig back in first place. It's exciting, folks. It's going to come down to the wire. Last question of the pack. What is the second highest grossing of the 7 Jurassic Park movies in terms of worldwide box office?
I do know this, but I'm not going to give the answer on here.
So is it Jurassic Park, Jurassic World? Is it Dominion, or is it Fallen Kingdom? The second highest grossing of the 7 Jurassic Park movies. I was not sure how to ask this question.
It's really interesting when you look at the numbers without the adjusted for inflation. Adjusting for inflation, like Jurassic Park's still like a top 20 all-time movie. And then there's, another one.
Oh, yeah. I got 9 people. It is Fallen Kingdom. It's the second highest grossing Jurassic Park movie. Jurassic Park is actually 4th. Dominion, I think, has the bump on the original Jurassic Park. From what I understand, these movies do really well overseas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Fallen Kingdom, second highest grossing. And honestly, worth a watch. Worth a watch.
Let's see who won this thing. So it wasn't me. I had to. I'm not allowed to win.
In third place, Scampers. In second place, it's Case. And in first place, Craig, you won. Congratulations, buddy. It's okay. You're allowed to win. Oh, you froze. You looked like you were sad. I was like, don't be sad. And then say, Mr. Magic, say, I'm going to go see Rebirth and probably be disappointed. I've seen 2 births and I wasn't disappointed in either of those. So Rebirth, that's probably good too.
I got it wrong on purpose and I still won. Sorry, Joey.
Dude, don't apologize. It's totally fine.
My internet, sorry.
Greg celebrating so hard his internet froze. Oh my goodness. Oh, I lost. I clicked the wrong button. All right. Well, I'm going to pull this board down. I'm going to put us up while I get the other one up. Craig, talk about why Dominion is so bad. Maybe we shouldn't poop on a movie, but like, what could Dominion done to really be a better film? Let us know.
They leaned into nostalgia too much for how far away it was from the original. It almost felt like they were pushing the nostalgia to try to make people go see it, which a lot of people still went and saw it. It made a lot of money. The other thing, like I said earlier on in the show, they leaned into the science too much, and they went away from the dinosaurs being the focus. And like I said, that in and of itself isn't bad, but the whole thing being this, genetic engineering going towards the locust and ways that people can use it right or wrong to affect the planet, and business, and the whole biosyn and all that taking over, because the engine went out of business and they got the dinosaurs and all that through Louis Dodgson. It was too much and was too far away from what people wanted. If you had a movie, like a spin-off sort of Jurassic, where you were telling people, hey, this is going to be dinosaur adjacent, looking at these other effects, there's still going to be dinosaurs, but they're not going to be the focus, people would have been all right with that. And to be fair, overall, like, the fans love Dominion. If you look at like ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, like, it has a very high fan rating. I did not like it. It was the worst out of all of them that I've seen. So out of the 6 I've seen, I wanted it to be good. There was some really good stuff. A lot of, again, cool new dinosaurs that they had in there. They got some screen time, and you got to see interactions. A little bit of the nostalgia stuff is fine. It just felt too forced, and too many people, like too many main characters, and you're just bouncing around between. And like Brian said there, yeah, it was humans and what humans were doing to their world they live in, not just about the dinosaurs.
Mr. Magic throwing some shade at Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, saying they were terrible. Yeah,
a lot of people feel that way. Like, I understand. Okay. I don't agree, but I understand. At least as far as Fallen Kingdom, I don't agree.
I want to talk about dinosaur-sized hugs. I got to meet Frank in the chat. He was not in the chat. He was in front of me in Chicago. When he uttered the words, "I'm Frank in the chat," my goodness, the world exploded into love. I was so excited. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you. Great conversation about trivia and how the show's going. And so just loved meeting you. So thanks for being here with us this week. I wanted Dino Riders. Okay. Jurassic World, best out of 3. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Next game. The code is 543-6302.
Dennis Dedry is a good name.
Dennis Dedry. Scamposaurus. Oh, I like that one. Yeah. BP's Revenge. Oh, that one's clever too. Goose. Okay, I'm gonna have to ban you for that. I'm just kidding, Goose. Thanks for being here. Brian T is in here. Look at all the people. Excellent. All right. Look at all the people. Anne's in here congratulating you. Yeah. Give these guys a couple more minutes to hop in here. I didn't catch the reference. It's a cartoon from the 80s. I did not see Dino Riders. Could I give a relationship with Dino Riders?
I do not. I was not around for much of the 80s, and my memory of what I was around for is very sparse. So I'm sure you can find it online. Maybe I'll have to go look it up. If you're recommending it, probably go look it up. Maybe it's on YouTube or something. But most of that older stuff you can find online somewhere for free to cheap.
Spare no expense. Good name. There might be a trivia question about that. Yeah, when they re-released Jurassic Park in theaters, I think it was like, must have been 10 years ago. We dressed up. I should have brought the picture of this. I dressed as Tim after being electrocuted. So my hair was like all out and I had char marks and my hands were bandaged up. But the look of my Starts and Salutations second episode was inspired by Alan Grant. So yeah, Jurassic Park's all through it. Hat and the neckerchief. Yeah. Is he the coolest guy to ever wear a neckerchief? Alan Grant?
Probably. I mean, I can't name that many others in movies. But he's definitely got that grumpy old guy that turns around by the end of the movie. Has a good character arc. I liked it. And speaking of dress up, I think I've showed you the photos, but when I was in college, there was a group of us that dressed up and I dressed up as Hammond. I had the all white outfit with the hat with the white band, and one of my friends had gotten me a prop cane. It didn't have the mosquito, but it had like the amber color on top of it. And walking around, in downtown Madison, Wisconsin, on Halloween, people were more asking me, why are you dressed up as a pimp? And I'm like, it's not really what I'm going for. But when I wasn't around the other people dressed up like Grant, Gennaro, and then Muldoon, when you saw us all together, like people were like, oh yeah, you're from that. But like they just saw me by myself. They had no idea which kind of made me sad, but I get it.
Tell you what, when I go white and I have white hair and my beard's all white, all I will be wearing, I will be dressing like Hammond every single day of my life. I'm going to live that life. I'm going to have the cane. Like that's going to be what I do. It's going to be my thing. So let's see. Brain in here saying knows nothing about Jurassic Park. So it's a Sadasaurus. Well, and loves the nickname Scampers. All right, we're going to go and hop into this game because we need to get out of here in half an hour so that the Fantasy Cares people don't riot. All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Hey, Wilson, how's it going? We'll get back to you in a minute. 3, 2, 1. First question. How many times does John Hammond say "spared no expense" in Jurassic Park? 3, 4, 5, or 6?
This is the sort of stuff that years ago I wasted my memory memorizing. That still somehow managed to stick up there. It's fleeting having a pile of kids teaching me about Paw Patrol and Barbies these days. Some of that stuff has taken the place of it. But
I was 12 for 12 on the correct answers to the questions. I am a little nervous. Some of these I missed. The correct answer that I had was 5. Is that correct, Craig?
Yeah. Yep.
He says it 5 times. And every time he says it, when I've seen it, because I've seen it in the theater, anytime they re-release it, I go see it. I cackle very loudly. It hits me every time.
Well, he's so happy the first few times that he says, and he just gets progressively sadder throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm. So I had to change that question of like who appears the most in the Jurassic Park movies other than B.D. Wong, because I think John Hammond technically does, but it's not like, that's why I said physically.
Yeah, because his voice appears later on. Yeah.
All right. Correct answer was 5 on that. We know Craig got it right. Ladarius, Scamposaurus, Goose, and Lynn up on the board there. And saying that was a tough question. Yeah, it was a tough one. Next question. What film did the composer of the early Jurassic Park franchise of films, John Williams, not create? E.T., Schindler's List, Back to the Future, or Home Alone? Which one of those is not a John Williams score?
Oh boy, again, you're getting me with this, I think.
Mm-hmm. I talk about, when the people that we love that created things that we love pass away, that it's, it can be sad and whatnot. And I've talked about in John Williams, when that time comes, that's going to be, it's like the soundtrack to my childhood. Yeah. Back to the Future. He did not. That was Alan Servinsky. I think that's how you say his name. That's who did Back to the Future. But John Williams did Home Alone, Schindler's List, and E.T.
You got me on that one. Playing from behind.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't got you on the Jurassic Park questions. They're all the adjacent Jurassic Park ones.
That's all right. It makes it fun.
Hold on down. Ladarius up into first place. Let's go, Ladarius. Scamposaurus.
My tribal chief up in first.
Mm-hmm. BP's Revenge. Guys, this is the first Trivia Night Live I've not done with coffee. So you got a yawn or two out of me tonight. Not that I'm bored by you. Not at all.
You've been a busy man, Joey. You've been jet setting all around and working on all sorts of stuff.
What other Steven Spielberg motion picture did the T-Rex appear in? Is it The Goonies, Ready Player One, Hook, or Saving Private Ryan? Remember that emotional T-Rex scene on the beaches of Normandy?
I was going to say that would have been a very different movie.
Yeah, please nobody pick Saving Private Ryan. That was my little joke.
Did you see? This is Jurassic Park adjacent, but there's someone out there who, his wife is deathly afraid of dinosaurs. So he went through and he re-edited Jurassic Park to take out all the dinosaurs.
No. You should have shown her Dominion. She probably would have liked that one.
Yeah, it would have been easier to edit that one.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Ready Player One. I remember going to the movie theater with my wife, and the T-Rex pops out, and Ready Player One, that whole scene ends, and he's like, T-Rex is chasing a DeLorean, and then King Kong shows up, and she just looks at me and she's like, "So this is just a movie made for you?" And I'm like, "Eh." And then by the time we got to the Shining stuff, she's like, "All right, what's going on here?" He's great. I read both those books, actually.
I haven't read the books.
You didn't read the books?
No, the Ready Player One was no.
Oh, I think you'd really dig them. And the second one, I liked a lot too. There's a scene in the second one that I hope that movie gets made because I want to see that scene on the screen. It has to do with Prince. And it's ridiculous. All right.
Well, I'll have to read it to figure that out.
Yeah, I think you'd really dig them, man. They're pretty easy reads too. Scamposaurus moving up into first place. Ladarius. It's got a streak of 3 though.
Got a tie
for
third.
What kind of creature is used to fill in the missing dinosaur DNA? Is it a bat, a frog, a turkey, or a Gila monster? In the first Jurassic Park, what creature is used to fill in the missing dino DNA?
I have a shirt with Mr. DNA on it.
I've long thought about getting the tattoo.
I have the drafting from Isla Nublar, Scott Fishbowl 12. Don't quote me on that. I think shirt, and then of course the Jurassic Park one for the movies that we just had.
It is a frog. That's the correct answer. Yeah. Leaderboard stayed kind of the same. BP's Revenge moved up. Brian T moving up in there. All right.
And that is how the dinosaurs could procreate.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that in a little bit.
No, good thing I didn't say more.
No, you didn't. You're good. I cut you off before you could. What was the name of the island where all the events take place in Jurassic Park? Isla Nublar, Isla Bonita, Isla Sonora, or Isla Lund? Ilsa Lund. Anybody that catches there's 2 little nods in that one. Yeah, it's Isla Nublar. Isla Sonora is where they raised the dinosaurs there, and then they transferred them to Nublar when they were ready to be in the park.
Yep, that is correct. And the Isla Sorna is what is in the Lost World, and then Jurassic Park 3. And there's all sorts of lore with that, but a hurricane basically came and took out Isla Sorna after the events of the first one, and that's how the animals all got broke out of like their not birthing pods, whatever, but where they were kept, and that's how they weren't like in cages and all that sort of stuff because it wasn't set up like the Isla Sorna theme park.
And somebody Ladarius caught one of them. Yeah, La Isla Bonita is a Madonna song, and Ilsa Lund is the name of the character in Casablanca. So, how about that? Katharine Hepburn, or is it? No, not Katharine Hepburn. What am I talking about? Ingrid Bergman's character in Casablanca is Ilsa Lund. So, yeah, there you go. Some little Easter eggs for everybody there. All right, Ladarius back up into first place. Scamposaurus fell into a tar pit. It's falling all the way down there. Craig, third place there.
I'm trying. Ladarius is running away here.
Next question. How many buttons does Ian Malcolm have unbuttoned when he's laying on the desk in Jurassic Park? 4, 5, 6, or 7? This is hands down the most research I did this week into finding out a trivia question. I actually called Craig about it because I needed to confirm that I was correct. And going down the rabbit hole of what I did to find out the answer to this question, Craig's like, I've not gone that deep before. So, yeah. The correct answer is impressed. 7. Yeah. Lots of research, lots of pictures pulling up. I looked up the costume designer, got the make, and I don't say model, but the design of the shirt, Used a few different references to finally come up with 7. So 7 is the answer. 7 buttons. So all of them are unbuttoned. Great scene. Remember, all the ladies.
It's iconic at this point. It's one of the for the movies.
It's like a meme at this point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, do we think Goldblum was on set and there because the shirt just becomes more and more unbuttoned as the movie goes on?
I think it was a conscious decision that he made to add a little bit of that Jeff Goldblum swagger that we've all come to know and love.
Mm-hmm. One of my least favorite Jeff Goldblum memory on that movie is in Life Aquatic when he rolls up a newspaper and he hits a dog and he says, "Be still, Cody." Is the rudest and most evil I've ever seen.
I don't specifically remember that, but I do remember that movie. I have that movie on DVD. Still, it's been a while since I watched it, but
that's my Wes Anderson movie. I love Life Aquatic. All right, let's look at that leaderboard. Ladarius moving to 3rd. Craig moving up into 1st. Look at us go. We're making our way in the world somehow.
Scamp.
Anne saying her brain can't hold all this trivia. Oof. Next question. We're about halfway through the pack. What is wrong with Alan Grant's seatbelt on the helicopter to Isla Nublar? It foreshadows a big plot point of the film. He doesn't have one. Both female ends. The buckle is broken, or it bites him. Both female ends of the seatbelt. And what's he do to fly? He ties it together because life finds a way. So, yeah. When you realize that as a movie nerd, when you're like 13, holy cow, girls just go out the window for about 3 days and just don't meet girls because you have found an Easter egg in a movie. Like before the internet, like when you're realizing these things, like how rewarding. Now there's like an article that explains it all to you. I don't know.
There is something much more rewarding about having those aha moments. And even, I mean, this is more about movies, and I know you're way more into movies and knowledgeable about them than I, but even some of those things, those experiences that it's so hard to have now. And I know for stuff that you really care about, you try not to even see trailers. You've told me because you don't want to have anything given away.
Yeah. Trailers
do that too much, but certain movies that have that surprise ending, like The Sixth Sense, that was one. Seven, just a big swerve or that big moment, like where you're seeing it. There's something about that stuff just sort of being spoiled now. That it happens far too often with newer movies, unless you completely avoid like every possible reference online, which I think it takes away from the experience, sadly.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on what you're saying there. Like you said, I don't watch trailers at all. I think what I've really bought into with movies is like I'll use Carol as an example. There's the framework of Carol, which I think is like one of the best untraditional Christmas movies, is a callback to Brief Encounter. Like they use the same shot to open and close the movie, just like they do in Brief Encounter. And like those are the little things that I catch in movies now that I'm just like, that's like super obscure reference, but
yeah, I mean, that's on a different level. Like, I mean, when you care enough that you can sit and watch and find those, that's rewarding on a different level. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying even like those big surprises, like the fact that like Kevin Spacey, not to bring him up, but like that he was even in that movie was like, oh my God, like where did that come from? Because like it just wasn't out there. Like you can't do that anymore, it feels like, which is sad.
Kevin Spacey being the killer in The Sixth Sense, like nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
Just threw that whole movie off.
That's how M. Night got the name for having those twists. No one saw that one coming.
Yeah. Craig's running away with this one. Scamposaurus is right on his heels, though. All right. Next question. We got 5 left. What is the brand of shaving cream on the dummy can? Dennis Nedry. Smuggles, not Snuggles. The dinosaur embryos in. Is it Gillette, Barbasol, Old Spice, or Skintimate?
I mean, he snuggles it a bit too.
Yeah, he does snuggle it a little bit. It is a Barbasol. Craig, hold that can up. I want to see it.
There we go.
Bottom
screws off. It is not the cold storage. I don't have that kind of money, but it's got the little embryo containers in here. You can
that's awesome.
take it out and replica prop. It's not, of course, as good as the real one, but for me and my budget.
Where'd you get it?
It was a wedding gift
that
someone told me about, which my wife didn't care for it for a wedding gift, but we got enough other stuff that she could use that my friend's like, if she doesn't like it too bad. Like, yeah.
That is on the short list of like, if you could have any prop from any movie, like that's on my short list. Like the Barbasol can.
That functioning one with the cooling. Yeah.
Yeah. You can get it. They're like $300. There was a few years ago around Christmas, there was like this movie website that made like props that was like just for nerds, and they like very authentic stuff. And I hovered over the $300 price tag for a while, and I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I don't blame you. So someday, I mean, I don't have a lot of stuff. I have it's not like a replica, like actual fossil, but it's like a large raptor claw, like replica I have up. And then we haven't, clearly you can tell from my office, done any decorating since we moved in almost a year ago. That's on the list, but I have hanging up a few of my Jurassic Park movies. I have, original double-sided movie theater posters for all the 6 movies. And then I got a spot for the next one. And it's just it's not with the people on it and all that. It's just the logo with the name on it for all of them. And that's my weird nerd stuff that I get to hang up in the basement.
I'm not judging you whatsoever. All right. Leaderboard not changing a bit. Let's move to the next question.
Right there.
Yeah. What mode of transportation is not featured in any Jurassic Park motion pictures? So which one of the modes of transportation is not featured? Is it a dirt bike, a monorail, a parasail, or a Segway?
Boy, that's tough. I think I know the answer. Okay, I did.
It is Segway. However, Segway designs the gyrosphere. They have an actual functioning one. And they help create it for the movie, from what I understand, but there's not an actual like Segway.
The reason I was hesitating on that, and I thought, okay, I knew the 3, but I'm like, isn't Segway? Like, I'd have to go back and watch, but there's someone, they might be on a unicycle or something in Dominion, when they're in Malta going through the streets and the dinosaurs get loose and they eat them off. That's the only thing I was trying to think of. And I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't think it's an actual Segway, but he's on something weird like that.
It's tough. Like, I went through a lot of different modes of transportation. I could not find any instances of a Segway in a Jurassic Park movie. And
I there very well could be. Into it. Like, he's on something weird, and that's just where my mind went to. It was like, was that a Segway? I couldn't tell you one way or the other, but the other 3, I know for a fact were in there.
Yeah, the other 3 are. Is that a mode of transportation, a parasail? I feel like it is.
You can move around by that, yeah.
Look at the leaderboard. A little bit of a change there. Brian T moving up. Trying to get himself a prize. Scamposaurus. Right on your heels. Just nipping. Oh, we talked at the T-Rex scenes, iconic. But I think my second favorite scene in a Jurassic Park movie is in Lost World with the tall grass and the raptors.
That is awesome. Very
watching them hunt from above. It's really, really cool. Yeah. But I'm hoping that the raft scene in Rebirth, I'm hoping that that moves up on the list. Even if the movie's not good, like I hope that raft scene really lives up to it, because people that have read the book have been waiting for years for it. So
I haven't heard anything bad, and I'm not going out there looking, but stuff that pops up, all I see is raft scene. Like, everyone seems to love that. So
yeah, if that's all I get, okay.
And I mean, David Koepp, worked on the first 2. He's familiar with the source material, and I think he's going to do a good job, because the first 2 movies he did well with. There you go, Scott.
An electric scooter. All right, so I'm safe. It wasn't a Segway.
I knew it was something goofy like that. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. All right, I think we got 3 questions left. Next question. The Lost World and The Big Lebowski were released 1 year apart and share 2 performers, most notably this actress. Is it Julianne Moore, Laura Dern, Tara Reid, or Kate Blanchett? And hit up ChatGPT and I said, give me the dude running away from the T-Rex. Look what it did for me.
Can I say the name of the other guy?
Yes.
Peter Stormare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good character actor.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say a line and I was like, oh, I can't say that line without throwing a sorry Joe out there. Yeah, it's Julianne Moore. She is in The Big Lebowski and The Lost World. It's kind of weird. They kind of have the same feel to them. I don't know how to explain. I've always connected those two movies in my head, and not because of Julianne Moore. I just feel like they've got the same vibes. That's really weird. But
don't be fatuous, Joey.
I know, right? We should have Big Lebowski trivia one week. I mean, I think that would do really well. We could do it from a bowling alley.
It might need to be after hours.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, Walter, like Donnie's dead, right? You know, he's not. He's like a figment of Walter's imagination. Yeah, we'll get into that another time. It's another show. All right, the scores moving up there. Craig and Scampers fighting it out. Brian trying to get up on the top. Oh, Brian saying he just watched Lost World yesterday. American Pie? No.
My daughter got very upset. Well, my daughter, of the five of them, our 6-year-old now got very upset because she was watching The Lost World, and she wasn't scared by the dinosaurs or anything like that. She got mad that the T-Rex ate the dog. Like
yeah,
that was. I'm like, that probably wasn't needed, but you know,
it wasn't. Yeah, no.
That was her only gripe with the movie. I'm like, well, you know, a lot of people probably have the same gripe, so you can't discredit your concern there.
Let me shout out doesthedogdie.com.
That's a good website.
If you ever wonder if the dog dies, go to that website and they'll tell you if the dog dies in the movie. I'm very sensitive to dog deaths in movies, and like I've not watched Chernobyl because I know that there's like a whole episode where the dogs die. I'm like, nope, don't need to see it.
This is different movie adjacent. Do you know the part about the screening of Anchorman with the dog?
No, I don't know the trivia. What happened?
So when they were doing screenings of it, like they were getting like great reactions, you know, sitting there watching the crowd, you know, laugh and enjoy and everything, but they kept coming back with these, you know, disapproving comments and like, you know, low ratings. And they eventually went and they asked people and they said, well, why'd you kill the dog? And they're like, we didn't kill the dog. But, you know, Jack Black punts Baxter and you never see him again. So they literally just shot that scene of Baxter coming out of the water and shaking off to appease these people. And then the reviews just skyrocketed just because people like, oh, the dog's fine. So they were able to continue on with the movie. But that one little thing was just starting to tank the initial screenings and reviews of it, like when they're test screening it.
We need Anchorman trivia too, right? Remember my hot take on Anchorman?
I don't know your hot take now.
Best comedy of the 21st century.
It certainly would be up there. I mean, I don't have lists of it, but it is really good.
Anchorman changed the way I talk. Like I used to have kind of a high pitched voice. I saw Anchorman and it went down 2 octaves just because I did Ron Burgundy impressions for like 3 years straight. And then my voice just stayed there. Yeah. Power of Ron Burgundy. All right. We got 12 minutes before we get kicked out of here. What was the home NFL team of the setting of the final act of The Lost World? Was it the Texans, the 49ers, the Dolphins, or the Chargers? If you were listening closely, Craig said it earlier, which is okay. We don't mind when we do that. It is San Diego. The Chargers were there at the time. I know Craig got that one right. Ooh, it's going to be close. Scampers and Craig at the end. Brian, I think you're out of the running. Yeah, so it's going to be a 2-man race or a cat and a man race there to the end. All right, last question of the pack. In Jurassic World, what DNA is revealed to be part of the Indominus Rex's genome, lending to its ability to camouflage? Is it a cuttlefish, a green salamander, a chameleon, or an albino seawater crocodile?
Since I know it isn't on here, Joey, at one of the Scott Fishbowl live locations that they mentioned in Jurassic Park, where does Hammond get a little bit upset that he doesn't build in? He says, why didn't I build in? You know
I
that?
don't know.
It says, why didn't I build in Orlando?
Ah.
When the tropical storm is coming. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And there's references to having a Jurassic Park Europe someday and all this stuff. He had very grand plans.
Which we kind of get in Dominion in a way because we get some dinosaurs in Europe, but yeah.
I do want that to be a movie. I mean, Rebirth goes in a completely different direction, but I would like to see just a movie of the dinosaurs being out in the world and the effects that it has with people trying to deal with that. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be a great movie plot-wise, or even like a TV series of just people dealing with dinosaurs in everyday life would be just fun to watch.
Then they start taking their jobs. Office settings. He's got velociraptors at the water cooler. That's the world we're in these days. Yeah. All right, let's look into the final podium. In third place, it's Brian T. In second place, Scamposaurus. And cleaning up both games this week, it looks like Craig, you are the winner. Did you throw the last question again?
I got the last one wrong again. I'm hoping that
Scampers would pass me.
But they got it either way.
The last question too. Craig, I want to thank you. This was everything I wanted it to be, and so much more. Let the people know what you got going on, buddy. Anything going on?
I got a couple irons in the fire stuff I'm looking into in regards to fantasy football stuff, but with moving the other year and then having another kid, I probably mentioned it, but we have 6 of them now. My life is a little bit busy, and we're starting to finally get that stuff figured out here. So with stuff calming down, I'm, talking around, and you'll probably see stuff from me at some point this season. Whoa. But, online, you can find me on X. You can find me on Blue Sky. My name is uniquely spelled. So Craig with a K, you can probably find me that way.
There we go. Scamper saying, thanks as always, Joey. Great job, Craig. People are loving the show tonight.
Thank you, Scampers.
Imagine the clock in SFB-15 and a Stegosaurus comes up and knocks your trash can over. Yeah. That's the real life stuff going on. Or imagine like a velociraptor sniping you on Joe Mixon. Just like the worst. Like, come on, velociraptor. So, all right, guys. Thanks for being here with us this week. Next week, it's going to be 90s NFL trivia with Dan Hendry from Footballguys. Dan Hendry will be our guest next week. We're going to do a full football episode. So you people have been wanting football every week. We're going to do it. Don't worry. I'll still find a way to get movie questions in there because that's what I do. Until next week, and I find this video, everybody have a great week.